when we look at this issue, there's such a back and forth on Christian nationalism, the power you were speaking about before, whether or not people think they need to be in charge. Yeah, the flip side of that, though, is what are Christians supposed to do politically, right? Because when Christians do come forward and say, hey, we want to be a part of the process, we want our values to be reflected in the law, we want to see that happen, we want to see ourselves in the people we elect, they're often being accused at moments of being Christian nationalists. So how, in your view, should Christians politically behave?
Well, I think this may be one of the few rare areas that Stephen and I are in agreement. Neither of us are Anabaptists. We don't believe we should simply be on the margins of society in our own little farm, reading Luther's, translation of the Bible. We believe Christians can be politically involved, and they can be a force for good. That's why that's why we had people like William Wilberforce, and other, Christian leaders over the centuries who have been a positive influence. So I think Christians can undertake public office. They can speak to political policy. They can engage in political debate. They can serve in the apparatus of government as well. And that can be an expression of their Christian vocation. But with that, you've also got to say that government works best with the consent of the governed. Okay. And it's, if you want to, introduce something like, Sabbath observance, like so there'll be no trading on Sunday. That's fine if it meets with the consensus of the governed. But if the governed don't want it, then it's going to be a hard sell to impose it.
So this is my concern about responses to Christian nationalism that come from a kind of centrist, liberal democracy, democratic sort of mindset, is they really end up being Christian nationalism light. Christian nationalism if the majority supports it. And when it doesn't, then we have to find compromises. So it's not rights-based. It's not based on sort of ultimate values of right and wrong. And so at the end of the day, as much as Bird takes issue with what Wolfe is saying, what Christian nationalists are saying, his response is basically, well, only if we can get the majority behind it. And maybe he would, I'm sure he would push back on points of that. But ultimately, I feel like that is kind of where it goes. Whereas a kind of a fully fledged libertarian viewpoint, an anarchist viewpoint, even a Christian anarchist viewpoint, I think has the foundation to really undermine what Christian nationalism is trying to say, and these other viewpoints just don't.